this last year, a guy named Dalen Hargrave. And I don't know if you people have heard of Dalen or not. I've got some pictures of some of his things. He's an amazing faceter and carver. He actually said he would love to be invited to speak next year. So if we could get Dalen here, that'd be a treat. He has won some of the top awards in the world with some of his carvings. I've got a couple of pictures I'll show you. Go ahead to the next slide.
The seasoning, he said stabilize, and those of us that cut turquoise and so forth know that stabilize means we've used epoxy to treat it. He's talking about seasoning as much more so than stabilize.
Because this stuff that was out, I mean, he said this has been sitting out on the ground for 6 months. It went through the winter snows up there, it went through the hot days. And I mean, it cut fine. It's a little harder than I anticipated. It cut between a 6.5 and a 7. Took a little longer than I expected. But this is from the Juniper Ridge website. He's got some information on the refractive index and how to cut it. Some of the ways to polish it. Go ahead and hit the next slide. All this on the web, just so you can see, that's their prices for it. So it ranges from $1.20 a carat to $2.50 a carat the way he sells it. It kind of goes on up. And I see people in stores selling it for reasonable and really expensive, depending on the kind of quality. Next slide. That's a picture of the mine. My daughter and the little 8-year-old son of the guy who owns it. I actually, Dalen helped me out because he had been there the week before. He's friends with the guy at the mine. You'll see why in a second. But he wrote his name on the rock, and he said, "Dig under my name." So he said the really nice clear yellows and oranges are coming out there. So I didn't move from about this much spot. And it's about the width of one of these tables down in there. But I just sat here with a jackhammer and just filled buckets with it. My daughter went down here in the end and pulled out a 6.5-pound egg of red fire opal. And in about 30 minutes, she said, "Daddy, is this good?" She has to find the biggest thing. We always have some kind of bet, and I always lose. But that's Sarah doing it. Hit the next slide. A couple of pieces. I was actually in New York City at a thing my son was doing the week prior, and we hit the Natural History Museum. The very first case in the door had Juniper Ridge opal in it. And so this slide is an egg, and this one's about, it's about that size. But it had a yellow piece and an orange piece, a couple cut, and I just thought, that's intriguing because I was literally going to the mine, was leaving New York to fly to Reno to drive up to the mines. This piece up here, that's one that Dalen Hargrave carved, and it's sitting in his workshop. And I actually went and searched Dalen out. He lives in the San Antonio area, and I get to go there to work with Max Tacato several times a year. And I went to his shop to get him to help me orient a dichroic sunstone that I found. This piece is called Cheese, and every single thing on it except for the gold and the platinum that's trimmed with is Juniper Ridge fire opal. And Dalen says it's the best carving material he's ever run across. The mice are carved out of it. Each piece of cheese is carved out. He's got 3 stones that are cut there. And that came in 2nd place in Tucson, I think it was, at one of the shows. And then he has carved some amazing other pieces out of sunstone, but he loves his opal and sunstones. Those seem to be what he's really focused on. Marshall's just down with him. Great guy. He's about that tall. And he wears boots and a cowboy hat that makes him
taller than that.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
6'9".
6'9".
6'9", and I don't think he ever takes the cowboy hat off.
No.
So that
without his cowboy hat and his boots.
Yeah. All right, next slide. Sunstone. This to me is one of those places you can still get to. I had a guy I was talking to yesterday at the Jamboree who said that it used to be Montana sapphires were like this, where you could really go down into the pits and dig. You can still go dig and walk around these mines and have a chance of coming out with 100-carat stones just like anybody else can. How long that lasts? Well, I dug there 2 weeks ago. But it's about a 5-hour drive north of Reno, 45 miles out into the plush, from Plush, Oregon. They have at the Dust Devil, they used to let you come out, dig for free, and pay for color. So you basically paid about 25% or 30% of wholesale on colored stones that you found. And I found Don and Terry to be extremely fair, overly fair. They have moved to a new fee structure when we were out there, although if you dug before or if you're going to use a hammer, they would let you under the old structure. But they were charging about $175 a person a day. And it was guaranteed. So if you found that much in color value, great. If you didn't, you could go through their rough stones and they have buckets full, or you could pick from their cut stones or from their jewelry. It was the best deal out. Next slide. Just a couple of shots from this last trip, digging in the wall. I've got some stones up here that are cut from Dust Devil, and I've got some rough that I found that came out with about a 60-carat red schiller and 2 or 3 others in the 40-carat range. The really deep red ones are kind of hard to find. There's some pretty ones over here if you want to see them. Yeah, they're from Dust Devil as well. Yeah, I haven't seen stones as pretty as Dust Devils from any other places. There is a new one that's popped up that's selling some things on eBay, and I'll show you some of their things. I don't know anything about the guys, but they have some really beautiful material. This is a picture of the matrix. There's a sunstone propping out there. I've actually got a little piece. It's kind of interesting because it comes and you find it in weathered basalt. And the stuff ranges from jackhammer hard to you can scratch it with a rock paper and get through it. But most of the stuff that I found, the nicer stones have come out of a really hard material. Next. There's the first time my daughter and I went up, which was last year. This was 3 days of digging without a jackhammer. So this was rock hammers and chisels. But we did a lot of digging. We did a lot of walking around looking too. It's hard to tell in the picture, but really those were the colored stones. So, 6 or 7 colored stones that were cut out of it. The biggest one I cut came out from that group was this one. And Don went through all my stones when I was up there and he graded them all. I said, "Can I grade these?" "Sure, go ahead." So he graded this one a 4A collector orange. It's almost 8.5 carats. That was the largest stone. This is the Texas Star pendant cut out of a yellow. The yellow stones, which tend to be not as rare, cut beautiful stones. It's about a 6.5. It's become some of my favorite stuff to cut. It cuts up great and it polishes great on line with that. So I'll be a commercial, but I really enjoy cutting them there. Next slide. That's, again, just some of the stones from that same trip, and we kind of parceled them out at that point. So, next. This is just eBay last week from this other dealer that the Double Eagle Mine. So if you wanted to look for their information, just Google Double Eagle Mine. He says on his eBay sites that they're getting ready to open it up for fee digging. So I don't know what that means. I don't know anything about the guys. But you can see from the prices, these are some of the nicer things. He had stones on there anywhere down into the $10, $15, $20 range that had some light color. I would say the quality of those stones is somewhere between clear yellow and the reds here, not near as nice as these reds.